Gloria.
Are we
I'm
on?
sorry.
Okay.
Start. Are we all right?
We're live?
All right.
Okay, great. Good afternoon and welcome to the monthly Allen County Public Library Board meeting today. And we will do a roll call. And our first item of agenda is the meeting of the Board of Finance. So I will do a roll call. Mr. Eisbart, Ms. Tucker,
Present.
Ms. Shamanoff, Mr. Moss,
Present.
Mr. Seifert, Mr. Williams,
Present.
and Mr. Pasterik.
Present.
Okay, thank you very much. And if we can adopt the agenda for the meeting of the Board of Finance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Sharon Tucker and Paul Moss, thank you. Okay, and now it's all in your hands.
All right, thank you, Gloria. Well, as we do each year at this time, we have a report on the investments and the returns on investments. In your packet were a series of graphs and charts. We had another good year this year from an investment standpoint, with the Fed continuing to want to battle inflation and cool the economy down. The rates that they have been raising, the federal rates to pass through to our interest rates. And so this year we set a new record in years for interest earnings. We earned a little over 2.27, almost $2.3 million in interest, and we had budgeted $665,000. So quite a, I like being wrong on estimates that way and stuff. Yields were also very good. Again, figuring 2 years ago we were at 0.231%, and now we're at 4.927%. So again, I won't dwell too long. Our investments, of course, are some of the most conservative. That's by law. With the state, we can only invest, as my report shows, in the U.S. government, treasuries, securities, et cetera, money market funds, CDs, savings accounts, et cetera. We are still, as many of the entities here in Allen County, doing well with the Lake City Bank money market fund. That is paying higher and has continued to pay higher than most of your longer-term CDs. In fact, I've attached in the report sample CDs from the last week, and those, as you can see, we would have to lock the funds up for at least 2 years to even get a rate close to what money market is paying us on that. So we're continuing to keep most of the invested cash in there. Again, we've moved that up. We are close to almost 97% of the cash always in an invested position. We work very hard on the cash flow on that and make sure that we have it set so that we can keep as much in an earnings position as possible. I'm not sure what else I can add to that, other than, again, we will see the volatility this year, I'm sure, as the Fed has decided, that maybe they'll slow down on interest rates and lower them, and these accounts will be definitely affected by it. We do monitor them all the time. We've looked at, in fact, this year there was some interest in portfolios of government bills, bonds, et cetera. But even then, they were not paying what we were getting. The cash needs of Lake City, obviously, they want to pay for the cash and keep that and pay the interest to do it. So as long as they like doing that, I'm happy. So, but that's really the report I have today, but I'd be glad to answer any questions. Yes,
I do have a question, and I am not a investment expert, so I may verbalize it incorrectly. But we received quite a bit of gain over what we budgeted. Is there any advantage to moving a portion of the gain that we had into an area where it doesn't become at risk with the market change that we are projecting that would come forward?
Well, the issue is we're already at the most riskless investments. We do not have them in higher return risky things like the Allen County Public Library Foundation. We are in stocks and bonds, et cetera, like there, but we are not limited there. So our managers put it in the most advantageous, spot without risking too much. With governmental entities, you're in T-bills, T-bonds, and accounts that are geared toward those rates. So I'm not sure where I'd put it in that would be less risky.
I guess in my mind of not understanding it all, some of me is kind of like, well, why don't we just take it out, like cash it out, because it's really only paper, right? So why don't we just cash it out and put it into real cash in our savings account to do some of the capital things that we need to do to move forward?
Sure. Well, and the way these accounts are, they are liquid for all intents and purposes. So if we have a need on that capital plan, it can immediately be withdrawn. We do not have it in anything that is tied up where it would cost us a penalty or something, to like a CD or something like that. So these money markets, the only limitation is 6 withdrawals per month. And I've had a total of 0 withdrawals from them so far. So I think we're in a pretty good position, and I think we're in good position to respond quickly to any facility master plan purchases we'd want to make, which was my objective all along.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other business?
All right.
Nothing? Okay.
I think we have to vote to
Well, we have to
accept it.
accept it, okay. All right. All those in favor?
I'll move that we accept the report as provided.
Second.
Okay. And Paul? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposition? Okay. Other business?
Move for adjournment of the financial board section.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we are adjourned, and we can now go on to our regular board meeting. And once again, we will do roll call. Mr. Eisbart? Ms. Tucker?
Present?
Ms. Shamanoff? Mr. Moss?
Present.
Mr. Seifert? Mr. Williams?
Present.
And our newest member I'd like to introduce is Mr. Pasternak. Thank you very much for choosing to be a part of us. I think you'll find it an enjoyable experience. I've been on it for a number of years and representing 3 school families, Northwest, East Allen, and Fort Wayne. So it's been a wonderful experience for me, and I hope it will be that for you.
I look forward to it.
And always,
Thank you.
the people who are surround you and behind you are always welcome to answer your questions. No hesitation.
Great.
Okay. All right, adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, it's been first and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Approval of the minutes. If it would be agreeable to the board members, I would like to do all 3 of them together.
I would move that we approve all 3 of those minutes.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay. That was quick. Moving on to the financial report for December.
Yeah, I think
Oh, thank you for reminding me of all this. I haven't done this in a long time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right. Financial report.
All right, thank you, Gloria. In your packet are your reports for the preliminary closed reports for December. Of course, those of you who've been on before know that these will change as the audit proceeds and some of the other adjustments that we'll make. But all in all, it reflects a lot of the like I said, the interest earnings that are there. We ended up preliminarily with a fund balance growth of around 6.6 million, which is phenomenal this year. A lot of that comes from, again, we had not only the 1.6 million increase in interest over our budget versus actual, our income tax. As you may recall, in May, there was another supplemental income tax distribution. That was 1.5 million. The circuit breakers came in favorable. Again, the economy is keeping those down, so that was almost 780,000 difference for us. Group insurance, I've kind of reported before, we continue to have very good luck with our health insurance, self-insurance fund. That saved 1.39, almost 1.4 million. And finally, the compensation, because as you recall, when the 2023 budget was put together, we had included a 5% increase and a number of adjustments that we opted not to make. And then plus with turnover and rest, that saved 1.28 million. Total of around, that accounts for about 6.6 million of that. So all in all, that helps us greatly because at this point, we were hoping to be at around 25 million or so available for the facility plan, et cetera, that we would pay. We're right now at around 32 million. So again, that would help in deciding what we want to do with moving forward with any of the facility plans. So all in all, the end of year statements look good. Again, there'll be some changes on them and I'll bring those adjustments as they occur. Speaking of adjustments, later in the thing, and I should have done this, Gloria, was the agenda change, but under new business, I need to bring a budget transfer. I know we just did those in December. However, when we got through closing the books and given the number of encumbrances that we brought over, and I'll be talking about those in a little bit, as well as the spending at the year, I know it's trivial, but I need to move $150,000 from capital into the services line. And I can talk further about that when that adjustment it is in, but just enough so that I can make sure that our categories stay within budget and where they're supposed to be. The encumbrances are another item that will be coming up in this. This is the annual item that allows us to bring commitments that we made in '23 into '24 and pay for them with '23 funds. Another good piece of news, we did get notification finally that the annual financial report, the certified annual financial report, has won the Certificate of Excellence in Reporting again for 2022. So that makes it the 31st year consecutively that we have won that, and we're very proud of it up in finance, and it was good to see that email finally come through.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Should we do the happy dance?
Oh, sure. Better you than me.
Oh, okay.
Trust me. And then the last thing I have is not so great news, and that is, as you've known or maybe aware, DuPont branch has been closed the last couple of days, and that is because the roof is finally virtually giving away. That freezing cold weather combined with the water and the snow and all just tore it apart. And as I was talking with Pete beforehand, we're going to need to move ahead with re-roofing that. As much as I would like to avoid having to pay for that because it's one of the prime items that would be up for the facility changes, we just can't put it off. And we're having actually Paul Davis come out in the next couple of days to do restoration because there's water leakage in a number of places. So unfortunately, the estimate on that is probably going to be close to $500,000. So, but we will be moving ahead with that and try and get that taken care of quickly. We have contractors. Jake has got contractors lined up already, and we should be able to get that started pretty quickly.
Have we lost any materials?
I don't think, Kim, I don't think we have, but I don't know if you heard a report.
We lost a computer.
Yeah.
And even though we've had to keep the building closed to the public, we have been able to continue
Yeah.
curbside service, so people can pick up their holds, which has been very popular and appreciated.
I'm sure. It's in an area where it's well-used. the
Very much so.
library.
Right.
So the building is not dangerous to go inside for staff, but we can go in and get the books and stuff but we're keeping public,
Correct.
oh, okay. Did we know how long the repairs to the roof will
Not
take?
yet. They just got those estimates today, and they're meeting with the roofing contractors as they speak.
Can I
to
Yeah.
clarify that we're hoping to open back up on Saturday, once it's sealed up, so it's leaking everywhere. So it's kind of a hazard for the public, and we need to get some of the moisture out and make sure there's no mold.
Gotta
and-
dry it out and
Yeah.
remediate it.
Yeah, so, but we're hoping to open on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we were hoping to avoid with our master facilities
Mm-hmm.
plan.
Exactly.
Yep.
Another example.
All right, thank you.
So, other than those items, that's all I had to report on today. And like I said, I'll be visiting the encumbrances and the transfer later in the agenda.
Well, we appreciate all that you're doing.
Oh,
Uh,
I would move for approval of the treasurer's report.
Second.
All right, we're on approval of claims.
Yep, I've got the claims for today.
Call for
and,
Gloria.
Gloria, you need to vote on that.
We need to,
Oh,
do I seem a little inept here?
That's all right.
I was president years and years ago, but I guess I'm just sitting there not knowing. All right, let us take a vote, then, please. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposition? Okay. All right.
You're doing fine, Gloria. It's when the pressure's on you, it's a lot of pressure. So,
I'm just going to keep a smile on my face. How's that? And I'm grateful to have all of you around me. Can I now go on to number 5? Okay. Approval of claims.
all right, I've got the claims for today. Now, this was a large claim listing because it takes into account checks prepared since the last board meeting. You may realize we did not send one out on January 10th or 11th like we usually do. Because of the year end, we've combined that all with this one. So there's a total of around $3.6 million worth of disbursements and all to be approved today. The highest ones are still the usual ones, are insurance premiums to the self-insurance fund, snow removal. Snow crept up and said hello to us. The train, a lot of the annual maintenance agreements that we have, not to mention New Era, who's doing inspections and all, plus the utility payments. So, all told, that's the large one for today, or larger one, so.
All right. Can we have a motion for the
So
approval of
moved.
claims?
Second.
Paul, can I just circulate that around? I'll keep going on the encumbrances, thanks.
All those in favor?
aye.
Any opposition? Okay, so we can move on. To Resolution 2024-01, to carry forward certain encumbrances to 2024.
Tired of hearing me talk yet? I think you-
No, never. We know the money is important.
That's
to the
right, that's right. That's why we win the awards, you know, that's because he's got it in order. Again, this is our standard resolution that happens every year. As you recall, we are allowed to have spend our '24 appropriation plus anything that is approved as a carryover encumbrance, so that, you know, these commitments were made in '23, they should come from $23, and that's what this does. So larger this year than last. Last year, we had 722,000 carried over. This year, we are at a 1.4 million in things. Most of these, as I kind of touched on with the budget transfer discussion earlier, are equipment and HVAC reports. You may remember from last month, I was talking, we are replacing all these R22 units in 5 different branches, and so we encumbered those at the end of the year. Those are, you know, again, totaling almost, between that and library materials of the 1.407 carrying forward, that accounts for 1.367 of it. So, oh, thank you. So really, it's materials and equipment and things like that that we're carrying forward, so.
I am, thank you for that.
Sure.
And before we go to that resolution, I just wanted to say thank you to, on the approval of the claims.
Claims.
all the work that goes into that.
Oh.
I mean, all of the different branches and all of the different,
Sure, well, thank
People around here.
Jill and her team, Jill, the financial services manager. Year end is always a challenge for us, the timelines and the dates and all, and, you know, Lorraine deserves thanks too, because, you know, so much of our, as you know, so much of our budget is tied up with staffing. And there's so much that goes on at the end of the year, getting everything set for the new year, payroll, et cetera. So I just sit here and talk. I don't do any of the work. They do all the work.
Dave, you were here on Saturday afternoon as well as I was, so I think you're doing
Laura
some
kicked
work.
me out of the house. No. Yeah, this time of year, you spend a lot of weekends.
absolutely, I understand that completely. Okay. Do we have an approval?
Or we
Motion.
have a motion.
Motion?
Second?
Who was first?
John, or
did.
James?
I didn't see, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
All right, and this is one of those ones that need to have the signature, so I'll bring that around also.
Okay. Go on number 7.
Okay.
All right, so we're looking at the appointment to the Allen County Public Library Foundation Board.
Thank you so much. So you all have at your seats a letter from Rich Beck, the chair of the Allen County Public Library Foundation, with a request to nominate Jacqueline R. Casario as a new member of the Allen County Public Library Foundation. And you will see her resume attached. She is a local attorney. I have met her, and she is a very enthusiastic library patron and is looking forward for ways to give back to the community and be involved in the community. Commissioner Beck thinks she would be an excellent addition to the Library Foundation Board, as do I. So we are coming to you asking for a motion to approve her nomination to the Foundation Board.
I move to approve Ms. Jacqueline Casiro to the foundation board.
A second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, committee reports. Are there any committee reports to be shared today?
I believe the nominating committee had someone to nominate for vice president.
Okay.
That is true. I think I am
As she looks,
See, Gloria, now the pressure's on me. We would like to put forward Mr. Paul Moss, who is willing to serve in the vice president chair.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay,
Move that nominations be closed.
certainly. Move nominations be closed.
I'll second that.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, this is because of previous nominations, just got Kent Castleman, not being reappointed, so happy to serve.
Well, we're happy to have you do that. I think you'll do a fine job in that position, so
Here,
no
here,
problem.
here.
Do I take a vote on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I hear everybody, so we don't have any opposition. Very good, and congratulations. And I said, you will do a very nice job in it. You have a lot of concern and not issues, but you have concern that you want the library to always be in its proper best.
Well, thank you. I do
And
have plenty of issues, too. But,
Well, but you share them openly. You don't do them behind back, so I think that's a wonderful way of sharing, so.
thank you.
It counters my quietness. Okay, have I done that okay? Moving
Very
on?
well.
Okay. Capital Projects Committee. No.
Well, Marty and Ben, the members of the Capital Projects Committee, could not be here today, but I believe that, well, I don't believe, I know that there was conversation about appointing another member to the Capital Projects Committee, our newly elected vice president.
Yeah, I think that is correct.
Second.
Did I make the motion? I don't know if I can do that.
You can't make a motion.
No, I can't do
I'm
that, yeah.
joking.
There must be something in the air today.
Or the water, I'm not sure what it is. No, I had talked with Ben and Marty and look forward to participating in that committee.
Okay, very good. Shall we take a vote?
There doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need a vote for that,
Did you-
so,
I'll make a motion that Paul Moss is the third person on the Capital Projects Committee.
okay,
Second.
okay. William.
I understand.
Okay.
All those
I
in-
think we take
All
that
those in
roll.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, make it easy on me.
Now you're official.
No.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Executive Director's Report.
Thank you so much. You have a written report in your packet, and as typical, we have some other items that have come up that we'll share. One is, and Asha, do you mind being Vanna White over there? Thank you. We are soon to launch 3 new limited edition library cards featuring local art. And the partnership celebrates Allen County's thriving public art scene and the artists who make the community a vibrant place to call home. Now, you will see in your written report the names of these artists. I'm going to be a little coy because there is going to be a press conference in the coming days to announce this to the community, and Asha has asked Beg Kachold that maybe I don't say those names out loud right now for those watching at home, because we want it to be a big, exciting surprise. So you are getting a preview. As you can see, they are amazing. We are so excited. And for anybody watching at home, I promise in the coming days, all will be known, and you will be thrilled with what you see. Thank you, Asha. And now you're putting them back down. Thank you. I wanted to share that Access Fort Wayne's Government Access Coordinator, Pat Stelty, and if you ever attend a city meeting, you know Pat. He is receiving tonight, actually, an Unsung Hero Award by Downtown Fort Wayne. So very richly deserved, and congratulations to Pat. Our first ever ACPL management cohort began this month, and this is under the leadership of Lorraine and our employee experience coordinator, Diana. And we have 9 employees that are in manager and assistant manager roles. They are participating in a 4-month leadership training series. And we have speakers from within the ACPL family, plus community members. And their topics for the training include conflict resolution, emotional intelligence, future-proofing your teams, communication in the workplace, and bias in hiring. And this is our early 2024 session, but I believe we also plan to have a second cohort in the fall of this year. We are now in the podcasting business. This is very, very exciting. Our first ever podcast, ACPL Presents Pages and Voices, features 6 local authors and their creative writing experiences. The first episode was released January 8th, and the second episode was released this past Monday. And it's available for streaming on our website and on all the places you would find podcasts. And our senior librarian, Meg Bell, is the host. She is excellent. If you ever listen to Terry Gross on NPR, definitely Terry Gross vibes with Meg. She does an amazing job. And Access Fort Wayne production coordinator, Kay Gregg, is the producer. It is so professionally packaged and put together. The level of talent and skill we have on our staff is just extraordinary. I was at an event last night, and I had people come up to me unsolicited and say, "Oh my gosh, we love the podcast so much." And we're also discovering that people who have never listened to podcasts are learning how to use podcasts and listen to them with ours. So it's really, really thrilling. So we were talking about DuPont yesterday, and earlier this meeting, we have some sad news about DuPont and the roof, but we're getting it fixed. But some exciting news about DuPont is that they have outside their building, and you see a picture of it in your report, a 24/7 holds locker. It has been installed. It is not quite operational yet. It would be really handy if it was now, but unfortunately the timing didn't work out on that. But soon, and we're thinking that this could be as soon as early March, Patrons will be able to select DuPont Holds Locker as a pickup location, and they'll be able to check out their holds anytime, day or night. Kind of similar to Redbox with DVDs, similar to that with your library holds. So that would be available anytime the library is open or closed. And I put in my report, an overhang awning and a logo wrap for the locker will be installed in the coming months. Well, like I said, sometimes news happens outside of when I write this report. The awning is up already, so you can pass that around, but we do have a logoed awning on it. So we're very excited to pilot this new technology at DuPont, and we hope to potentially bring this to other library branches in the future and/or other community locations. Also want to share that in your packet is our quarterly managers report, and I want to thank Chris Ford, our marketing manager, and the marketing team for putting this together. This will also be online in the coming days. This is chock full of excellent information about what is going on in all of our departments and all of our branches. I encourage you to take a look. One thing that I have pointed out that I thought was of particular interest on page 6, our Grable branch, there's a really fun picture of a partnership they have with the County Parks Department, where a representative from the county parks comes to the library for a weekly story time, but then once a month, they go out and do a nature walk with the kids. So an excellent example of partnership with the larger county family and getting kids out in nature, which is always a good thing. Kim and Aja have another report they would like to give. So as we start the year 2024, we think about what we would like to accomplish as a library, and Kim has kept us on track in putting together a master project list for the year. And something that we have been noodling upon for a few months and we hope to move forward on in 2024 is an expansion and a slight location of our Maker Lab here at the main library. So I've asked Kim and Aja to give a report on what that would look like.
Sure, so you're probably familiar with our current Maker Lab, which is just right out here. And so we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary here in June. Will be 10 years of our Maker Lab here at Maine and also at Georgetown. And so we also last year received an ARPA grant and were able to purchase some new equipment to stand up mini labs across the system at 3 other locations, and also replace some equipment and upgrade some equipment here at Maine and at Georgetown. And so all of that has led us to talk about just future vision of the maker space and how do we grow what has not waned in demand from our patrons. In fact, that demand continues to increase. And how do we make sure that we have space and equipment that meets the needs of the community? So looking at that, we have decided that the space that we currently are using, and if you go in there, you'll see they're strapped for storage, that there's not enough space for all of the equipment. It's hard to conduct programming, which is very much in demand. So we are going to be relocating our existing space to, the plan right now is the current Duncan space, former Duncan space, and make that front and center and a place that people will see the activity that's happening in the Maker Lab and get excited and even just stop on in and see what's happening in this library here. And so that is really exciting. The Maker team is very excited for it, and I think offers us up the ability to continue to do what we do, to grow here immediately, quickly, and efficiently, and also lets us think about what the future might look like as well. So Kim, as we all know, is the expert on all things design and architecture and planning, so I'll let her talk about any of the specifics for what's to come.
So I need help. So we are hoping to engage Moe Park Group, a local architecture firm, to help us with some of the design work and some of the documentation moving forward. So it's similar to the partnership we had with Luminat, who helped us with the Storyscape. So just giving us some extra assistance, because Jake will also be extremely involved in this, and we need the assistance. So we're hoping after this board meeting, I was going to sign the documentation, and we're ready to start tomorrow. So if all goes as planned, this project should open in September of this year. So that's our hope and our dream, and if I know Aja, it will open in September. So we're excited about it, and lots of good stuff to come.
Do you want to share a bit about budget and how it's already incorporated in the budget for 2024?
For what Dave talked about, or I guess you just talked about it. So we do the planning at the end of every year. I set a we have a project team, and we outline all the projects that all the departments want to do, and then we rate them like a 1, 2, 3. So, and then we give all the numbers to Dave and make him sit down, and then, then Dave plans it in for the budget. So this has been planned in. Moak Park has been very generous with their time. They gave us our estimate early on, did some preliminary drawings for us. So all of that has been already factored into this year's budget, so it's not like an extra expense or anything. And we'll be revealing other things, I think, as years to go.
And then Aja, could you speak briefly on the field trip that you and Beth and some other folks took to get some inspiration and ideas?
Yes, so Beth, so I said we got the equipment to do mini labs across the system, and those are those open now? Close to opening.
Very soon, we're training.
And programming is launching for those in the spring. And so under Beth is a woman named Kirsten, and she is our former Georgetown maker coordinator.
Yeah.
And so she actually connected with some colleagues in Bloomington at the Bloomington Public Library and on IU's campus, which has several maker spaces, and arranged a really incredible trip for us to take some of our current maker staff and Beth and Kristen and myself. We went and we just sort of saw how different libraries. We also toured Fisher's Ignite Studio, which Kim happened to design, and so we got to see how different each maker lab can be and how they position themselves to serve their community and their audiences, and how they're all doing this maker work in really innovative, creative ways, and the ways they've used their spaces. And it just sort of got all of our ideas going. And I think it's a very exciting time for us at that 10-year mark to start thinking about, we've done this really well for 10 years, and what does the next 10 years look like? How do we start putting things in place so we're not limited by what our current equipment and our current space? Because the maker world is, by design, ever-changing and evolving, and we need to be able to move with that. So I'm excited, if you can't tell. Did that answer that question enough about
I
the
think
trip?
so.
Okay.
Can I add that I'm excited because we're actually doing a space at Pontiac too that we hadn't planned on. So Pontiac's actually going to get their own like space dedicated to it, and I think that's pretty exciting for that branch.
Could I add one more thing? I'm excited about some of our partnerships around these projects. We've been in touch with several school districts about the STEM and STEAM work that they are doing in their curriculums, the way that we can support student innovators, especially when they don't have access to school equipment. We've also spoken with the NIC about the ways that we can support entrepreneurship in our community and understanding where the gaps are, so that as we vision our way forward, we'll be making sure we're meeting the needs of our whole community, investing in economic development, and really scaffolding the skills so that people can take their own initiative, come and learn and improve their skills so that they'll be more marketable for whatever endeavors they might see in their future. Create their own stories, as Kurt would say.
Pat, did I mention we have an enthusiastic team?
You did. I see that.
And that is my director's report. Any other questions or comments?
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please, always.
I was sitting here trying to figure out how long I've been on the library board. I know it's been over 5 years, maybe 6, 7, I can't remember. But I just absolutely love the energy and the changes that you have implemented in your team. I've been in the library probably 3 times this last 2 weeks for multiple meetings of vast differences. The City Link is now holding their monthly meetings in this space that would phenomenal being able to utilize that. You've turned the library even more community focused and community open, and I think that's dynamic. And when I was coming in for one meeting, there was a bridal shower that was coming in to get prepared for. This is the difference that libraries are having now in the communities. It's more than just books. Books are extremely important, but it's the community that people are feeling when they come into this space, and you've done a great job, and your team's done a great job. So I just wanted to share how phenomenal I think that is, and the work that you've been putting forward to be able to keep history, right? Keep us true to our mission, which is educating and providing reading material and sources, but also looking at other ways that we can bring people into the library, which ultimately has them check out a book at the end of the day. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. And the information that you're sharing just feeds right into all of that. That's that good news I wanted to share with you earlier. So.
All of us are so grateful for that vote of confidence and support. You mentioned meetings, and I do want to give all the thanks to our events team, Leanne, our events manager, and all of our event technicians who are making the magic happen. Sharon, you spoke to it beautifully, but one room can be a bridal shower, and the next room can be a very important town hall held by an elected official, and the next room can be the Mexican consulate helping people with immigration issues. And it's all bringing people to the library for different reasons, at different purposes, but they're here, and that's what we're hoping for. And I want to thank the events team for making that magic happen, because it looks like magic. There's a lot of sweat and tears and hard work into that, so thank you.
You know, Sharon, I appreciate you making that comment, because you weren't born and raised here in Fort Wayne, correct?
I was.
You were,
Yeah.
you were, okay. And I remember it when it was just books. And I remember where it started. And I remember in Harrison Hill area, there was a library at that point in time, and my mother would take me there. And libraries are, how can I say, almost like the heart of a community. And it's important. And you also reflect us.
Right.
And I think that's important. You take that very seriously. And I think we all appreciate that, don't we?
Thank you.
Okay.
Makes my heart smile.
When things get tough, think about a library.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's words to live by, Gloria. I like that. That's our new motto, yeah.
Okay. Where am I at now?
New business.
New business. Okay. Anything else?
We've got a few items
Okay.
under new business.
Okay.
First is plans for bylaw review. So, every 3 years per the state of Indiana, libraries need to review their board bylaws. So, the last time we did it is 2021, and here we are in 2024. I consulted with Pete, and we have a proposal to put before you to see if you think this is the right path to take. Kim, Dave, and I were going to review the current bylaws, compare them to the templates that the state library provides for reference. I can't think of any changes we would recommend off the top of our head, but there might be. If there are changes, we would bring those to Pete and his team for review, and then if ultimately we think that there do need to be any changes for you to consider, we would bring that to this body later in the spring. Does anyone want to fight me on that and actually review the bylaws themselves?
Didn't hear the word committee, so I'm all for it.
6 years, because I think when I came on, you were doing bylaws. So if it's every 3, then I've done it twice.
It could very well be that we come to you and say, it's all fine, but we'll go through that process
Well,
as the state wants us to. Yes.
We'll appreciate your knowledge.
And I believe Dave has another resolution.
Yes. I just handed out to you Resolution 2024-2, and this is what I spoke about earlier. It is to transfer funds from the capital line to the services line. And what I had mentioned was, because the HVAC contracts and such, we needed to move. Those were originally budgeted in the capital line, but they are now taking place in the service line. So I need to move that 150,000 in order to make sure our services line has enough money for both the expenses that have happened as well as these new large encumbrances. So,
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Can we take a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay,
and this is
very
another
good.
one that needs signatures, so I'll bring it around.
And I have one more item for new
Okay.
business. So this is the feel-good meeting of the year. I probably should go up to that.
Yes.
Kurt, would you mind joining me at the podium? So we talked about at the last meeting Kurt's honor, richly deserved honor of receiving the I Love My Librarian Award, awarded by the Carnegie Corporation of New York, the New York Public Library, and the American Library Association. So this past weekend, Kurt was at the American Library Association conference in Baltimore to be honored with the other 9 honorees. And I think some of you watched the live stream of the ceremony. And Kurt really brought down the house with his speech. I may be biased, but I believe his speech was the best of all of the winners. And we have today the plaque that he received. We also received a check from the American Library Association for $5,000. All of the award winners received a $5,000 award, and Kurt, not surprisingly, but very generously donated that $5,000 cash prize back to the library for the genealogy gift fund. So we want to thank him for that generosity, yes. And Kurt was very indulgent with me because I said, Kurt, I know the spotlight has been bright these past couple of weeks, and that's not what Kurt is about at all, but he's been very indulgent with that, and we appreciate it. But there's another honor that we wanted to share with him. He has been named a Distinguished Hoosier by Governor Eric Holcomb, and I would like to read the proclamation to you and to Kurt. To all whom these presents may come, greetings. Whereas some individuals distinguish themselves through significant contributions to their communities, whereas the qualities and characteristics of such individuals reflect the best of the great state of Indiana, whereas the actions of these individuals endear them in the hearts and minds of all Hoosiers, and whereas the individual named below is such a person who has earned the respect and admiration of Hoosiers across the state and is worthy to join the ranks of those so honored. Now, therefore, I, Eric J. Holcomb, Governor of the State of Indiana, do hereby declare and appoint Kurt Witcher as a Distinguished Hoosier. Congratulations, Kurt. And I do want to give thanks to Leader Phil Giaquinta and his office for helping facilitate this award through the governor's office.
Thank you.
I really don't have any words. I think Susan is right. The words that I would have is just thanks to all of my colleagues on the leadership team, but also all of the colleagues in special collections, because all of us in this room know this doesn't happen by one person. This happens because of a team, as our wonderful trustee said, it's everybody that helps contribute to this. So thank you to those who facilitated this, but thanks to for a great team and a great board that really supports serving the community. So thank you.
Do we have any public comments? No comments, okay. Well, we're ending on a very special way. We are. Yes, great.
Move for adjournment?
Yes,
Second.
all right, thank you. Are we off?
All in
We
favor?
do have an executive session, so,
Yeah, I know, okay, but we're off of this?
yeah.
You got to close it?
Well, in 5 minutes or so, whatever.
Okay. Adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.